Welcome back. So this lesson, we'll start looking into another problem we have right now. When I send a message right now, everything's fine. And these messages, of course, aren't stored anywhere. They're sent and they will be received right now by anybody who's listening. So let's just try and open another chat right here just to show you. So when I send a message now, you'll notice that this message is here because I receive it and it's also just received over here. Now, that's okay, but it's not a perfect situation. I want, of course, when I refresh the page, I might just go and get all the messages that are available right now on the backend. So we're going to make, first of all, just a simple solution for that, where we just go in and create an array on the backend that can kind of keep the messages as long as the backend is running. But every time the backend will be restarted, the messages will be gone. So we won't store them in a data source yet. We won't save them to a database yet. We'll do that later on. But for now, we're just going to work with the feature that when we launch the application, we want to get all messages that are available right now on the backend. So let's just try and do that this lesson right here. First of all, I'll go to the backend. And here I want to start, instead of just emitting to everybody that a message was just added, I'm actually going to start saving the message in a local array. So what we're going to do is just a basic array right here for now. Later on, we'll make something more complex, but I'm going to make just a string array like this, and it's going to be of the type, let's actually call it all messages like this. It's going to be of the type string array, and let's just initialize it right away, just to a blank array. So again, you should be used to this now. We are telling the type right here, giving it a name, and then initializing it to an empty array right here. So I'll say when I get a message from the outside right now, I'll just push it onto that list, just like we're doing in the front end right now. Of course, I need this keyword. I forget that now and then. I need to say this to kind of explain it's a private thing inside this class. And there I'm going to push, let's actually change this instead of data to a message. So we know that's a message. We'll still log it. We'll still add it. We'll still emit it for now. Later we'll do something smarter and we'll just return that message still right here. Now we'll talk about this later as well, but not right now. So now that we actually start pushing this guy onto this queue right here, this stack, we actually can start saving the messages every time a new message pops up from the front end. Now we're still going to just publish this to everybody who listens, but it means that we can now start, whenever a client connects, we can actually send that list of messages to the client with a command similar to this. First of all, let's actually change this to new message like this, just to have a better name, because it's actually not going to return messages, it just returns a new message. Now, I've seen documentation, you can do this, or you can do this just with a space in here. It's really up to you, you just need to find a good name. Now, I like camel casing, so I'm actually going to use that syntax right here. So I'll pass this in here, and of course I also need to go and change it in my front end, in the service right here, to also call this new message right here when I'm getting a new message actually. New message. There we go. So now I have that event and we want to create a new event. So now that this is changed, we want to emit to the client who joins our server. We want to explain that client that this is the list of messages that are already available on the backend. So we'll say client dot, and notice I don't get any help. That's because right now the client is set to any. And this is where, in my mind, you really see the power of TypeScript. This is not any, this is actually a socket right here. So I'll name it socket, and now I can get some help to what I can send. Now what I want to do is actually I want to emit something. And what do I want to emit? Well, I want to emit that list of all messages, and let's actually just create one right here called all messages. That's going to be the command name. I want to start with lowercase, by the way. There we go. And that command or that event name is going to return all messages. It's that simple. So now whenever somebody joins the server, they can get all messages to display right away. So let's go to the front end and make that work. Going to the front end, and I'm going to make a new one called get all messages. Get all messages like this. And that's going to listen for the all messages like we talked about. And we're actually going to get a string array back, not a single string. So let's put in the string array right here. Now we have the get all messages available. Now we could keep listening for this, and let's just do that for now. So I'll jump into my component and say I want to have a new subscription right here. And let's actually go and just make sure we unsubscribe later on. We'll say get all messages like this. We will take actually only one right now, just to kind of show you. That one will work as well. And we'll get back all the messages one time right here. And instead of saying this messages push, we're going to say this messages equals all the messages. And we're only going to do this once, right? So when I connect, I'm going to go and start listening right here. I'm going to get a reply back one time. And there I'm actually going to set all messages in that single request right here. And I don't need to unsubscribe now because I know I'm only going to do it once and then I'll automatically unsubscribe. Maybe this is not the perfect solution, but it is a solution just to show you the take and just to kind of show you how we can get all messages when we kind of load the page. Let's see if this is working. I'm jumping into our page. Let's refresh the page. Right now there's nothing, of course, so let's say hi all, like this. We'll send that message. Notice here's the hi all, and if I go to the other page, it's there. Let's refresh. There we go. Hi all is still there. Let's refresh. Hi all is still there. How are you doing? Like this. Let's send that message. How are you doing? Let's refresh. It's still there. So it seems now we actually have a way to store the information on the backend. Now that could be stored in a database. Right now it's just a dumb array inside the running system, right? So if I go back right here and I make a change just to show you on the backend, let's say that I made just a space and saved, it actually restarts the server, right? Let's get rid of that space and save. So when the server is restarted, this guy is reset. So now there's no messages on the backend again. So of course, later on, we need to add a database to store these messages if you want them to survive a restart. But let's just try and just as the final thing. When I refresh now, all the messages are gone. But still, while the server lives, all the messages I'm sending will actually now be stored and sent to the backend. And notice these are still there because, of course, I didn't actually refresh this page. So locally, it still thinks that these messages are available. As soon as I refresh, it's all gone. So that's it for this lesson. Now we'll work more with this because this is, of course, not the final solution. But now we're started. Now we have some data on the backend that we can work with. See you next time. Bye.